Hello and welcome to another long overdue Supreme Commander shoutcast between two titans of the community. We've got Zlo and Mountain versus each other on this all-time favorite map called Loki. And yeah, that's fun. So Zlo is ranked about 10, Mountain about 20. Yeah, I just checking for the play. And this match goes on, like it's a bit of a spoiler, but you're going to see from the length of the video anyway. It's for about 55 minutes. So I'm excited because this is not a big map, and a match like this that goes on 55 minutes, I really expect this to be a good game. I'd be very surprised if we don't see some really amazing and super interesting stuff from these two really good players. Yeah, that's understandable. The two P-Gens, Mexes, very standard. Everything is going fine. I personally find this a very demanding map to play. There's so much going on here. This has got the middle avenue you fight for. You've got these resources points in the top left and top right. It's very draining, and these mechs are very easy to raid. If with like a mech marine or a T1 light assault bot. Similarly, these ones too, just being a bit of a mirror. And yeah, so you're definitely going to see some, I think, T1 airplay from these players. An air factory going down probably second. I mean, yeah, two land factories and then an air factory, I think is the order that both of the players are going for. So yeah. I think it was actually Cauldron who first made this map. He was one of the way original Supreme Commander players back in the GPG days. If I remember correctly, he actually made the map, or one of the early versions of it. This is an old classic StarCraft map, very similar shape and structure, and it was a very popular StarCraft map, so everyone felt like, hey, it will probably be an awesome Supreme Commander map, and it is. Yeah, so still fairly slow start. I'm not sure what the striker is doing. He's maybe a little bit out of there. I feel the striker was a little bit of a strange choice. He's clearly going to go raided. I feel that a mech marine might be better just because he'll get there quicker and it's a long map, and a striker and a mech marine, they're both pretty good at killing engineers, and you don't really want the extra firepower to take on the mantis. You kind of want to evade the mantis, so yeah. We'll see how that goes. Maybe I'll just be proved completely wrong by these better players, as what usually happens, or it often happens. But sometimes I know things also, and that's fun when you get things right. Yep. The things are moving on the map. That's exciting. Engineer's doing the standard reclaim, which is great because it seems like he's actually given specific reclaim orders here instead of a patrol route. And now, so that's pretty interesting. I would just move my engineer and then patrol, but he probably knows things a little bit better than I do. There's a mass here. It's not super useful, but every bit helps, and it really adds up. This man is going to have a bad day. Does he know he's going to run into like this horde of strikers? Yeah, as I mentioned earlier, this area here is a very popular raiding territory, so that's what this guy is doing, and this is why his strikers are here, to stop that happening. I thought these strikers were going to go to raid, but they're just the anti-raid force, which I really like to see. Bombers! T1 bombers, we're going to see what this guy does. He's probably not going to last too long, because when Air Factory already got interceptors out, so it's probably not making too much work done. This interceptor is probably going to... we'll see how this plays out, but hopefully this one will at least get an engineer, or maybe two. Definitely a bombing run coming in. Got him. That's good to see. So, okay, two interceptors out for Zlo. He's probably going to maintain his priority for a while, especially if the interceptor maintains the bomber instead of the other interceptor. So, yeah, this bomber is definitely going to get a little bit more work done. He might get veterans to the third kill if Zlo orders that up, but of course there's so many other things to be going on the map. With such high skill players, there's actually going on everywhere all the time. It's very macro demanding, but somehow they manage it. I don't know how, but they do. That's a shame. If that bomber was microed a little bit better, he would have survived, but yeah, there's just so much to macro at the map. There is no judgment there. Get the engineer, Mr. Striker, get the engineer, that's what you're there for. Don't worry about the mans, get the engineer. Get the engineer, get them. Good job. Hey, and right before that rocket's going to be reclaimed. That is going to annoy Mountain, especially if he was like, his opponent was like, yeah, I need an extra 100 mass just so I can upgrade my mixers. Yeah, already got mixers upgrading here, that is fun. It's an T1, so that's fine too. The economy is a little bit in Zlo's advantage, even though Mountain has a T2 max upgrade. Yeah, Zlo has got his maxes all built up. The engineers denied here has slowed those engineers, those maxes in Boston. I've got a number of maxes coming out of the field. The commanders are both taking mirror positions across the map, which is fine and good. This is a good spot for the commander because there's so much mass, right, that he can go to if he needs to be helping out in those areas. Yeah, as always, or not as always, but on the map the size, the tier 1 gun upgrades on the engineer commands can be awfully useful. So can the engineering T2 suite, allowing you to build, you know, just a triad here would be super good around here to just control the map a little bit. But certainly we should see swarms of 2-1 units before the T2 come out. But I'm sure they will, going to the center in this. I don't remember this being so urban-y, right? We've actually got a proper city here. That's pretty cool. I don't really quite know what these walls are about. Is this like some throwback in the future where, like, because at some point, right, in the Renaissance period, it was like castles and walls just aren't effective anymore because cannon, right? So we're just like, well, we don't build walls anymore. We normally fortify everything on the ground these days, and that is fine. But somewhere in the future, we're like, walls work. They're pretty cool walls, and so we have them. So that's the thing that happened. Oh, suicidal engineers, you choose into that, you're on fire. This is what happens when you just follow orders blindly, right? You just go into gunfire and you just die. So these are very low on the B engineers, and I guess that's what happens when you give robots orders. But yeah, maybe one day we'll have robots a little bit AI, you know, a little bit initiative. You know, if you're going to be shot by mans, rather try killing the mans instead, if you're just going to die, but that's the future. The graphics in this game are still always amazing me. I love the way the fires just tumble out of the sky and just blow up in a ball of flame. So things are actually really bad on the map now. We're deep in, well, not deep into the T1 territory, but we're well into it. We've got the raiders going all over the map. These players are really coming to grips themselves. This is not a thing that you want to be experiencing. It hurts, it hurts. This commander is getting kills he should not be getting. We're just watching it. This is how you lose your air force. That's not good, that's not good. But ooh, we got transport engineers coming down here into a sort of mantis, which is we've seen. This is interesting, right? These are micro mishaps from Zlo, which is not something I want to say to Zlo because he's really good. But these are definitely clear micro mishaps that are being experienced. Somehow engineers survived. He managed to really pick them up, which was a really good save there. These mantis are really going to cause trouble. There are enough strikers to really not make this much of a problem, especially the new protection coming down here. Enough strikers. These mantis aren't really. It's just not enough to cause a lot of damage here. He might get to engineers, but I really don't think it's really serious. Starting to reclaim T1 power. Don't really know about that. Why was it just? I think that power pigeon just wasn't a spot you didn't like because yeah. Or is he just... He doesn't have a lot of extra power, so... That's a bit of a strange choice. Maybe he just felt that he really needed the mass. Or he was paying a little bit of SimCity. Who knows? I don't know. There's not really a decision I can explain. Yeah, some more strikers. This is really nice. This is like exactly what you want to see from high tier players. You're just having T1 units all over the map, swarming. They're controlling everything. They really just got battles all over the map. It's really great. So you've got a lot of T1 factories just putting production out, and yeah, this is great. I think definitely Mountain is assuming the more aggressive role, charging the SCU into T1 PD. Never a like it works, right? You do kill it, but you do take a lot of damage on the ASU. So feeling it's worth it. He's actually reclaiming it instead, which is probably quick. You know. Your shots get hit by the walls and he's getting the mass, so that's great, right? He gets control of the situation, but he does sacrifice a lot of help with his SU, and he figures that's worth the risk. And I would agree with that situation because this is a Delta in 12 mass, right? He knows his enemy 6 and he's going to get those 6 pretty soon, so that's going to be a big swing. Already in the lead in mass, Lowe's really in the cool position. I really like this. When you have one T1 bomber, right, just micro units into a whole of T1 units, it's super cost effective. If you go more than one, it's really hard to micro, but if it's just one, you can get some bombing rates in and it can really do well. So you got a veterancy on a T1 bomber. So I like to see that. Good use of transports from Zlo. He's making sure he's just trying to maintain control of the map. Are you building the your mexes? Yes, he is. So yeah, these mexes are everyone's struggling to secure the mexes, and they can't be raided and destroyed. Once you put these ones up, and there will be, it's a lot of reclaim. These, yeah. So T1 land units, right? They actually do leave a fair amount of reclaim, so you can get them. This is like 400 mass here. So these engineers, that's like 3 mass, right? That's a T2 max upgrade, or half of it. So you want to be doing that. We've got T2 land, a T2 air defense coming off first. That's a definitely concerned about an air player's mountains. Playing a little bit cautious. He's scared. I guess he has enough interceptors. Does he? Slow's not even going to T2F, so this is already a cautionary play. He must be fearing a T2, some kind of play, T2 air play from Slow. Anticipating it, it's not really coming in time yet. So yeah, those could have been the Rhinos or Wagners, but he went T2 air, so definitely preemptive. We'll see if that works out for him. But does seem to be a little bit premature from my perspective. But yeah, that's what you get from hindsight. And you always say like, hey, yeah, if you continuously scout your enemy, then you can manage these things, as you want to. But that's just one extra job that you want to do. And sometimes you're just going like, my enemy is probably going to go T2 air. Now he's rebuilding his T1 pigeons. I find that reclaiming the pigeon really curious. Like, why did that happen? So it's clearly power storing now because he's paused his air factories, which is a fun thing to do. He's possibly upgraded his commander or just finished it. I'm not sure. The commander's reclaiming stuff, which is a strange choice. Yeah, it's got some kind of epileptic motion going on over there, which is a thing you can do. Oh, this is going to be interesting. Okay, so this is, I think, a poor choice for Rhino Mountain to be fighting here, and he's running away, which I like to see. You see, now this is where you really would rather anything but a banger. So there is going to be a lot of mass on the floor, right, after this battle is done. So it's closer to Zlo's base, he's got more units, he's going to win this, and if he is on the board, he can get a large eco advantage if he's just able to secure this mass. A very peculiar choice for a place for a T2 max extractor, not defendable at all. If he, okay, so at least he's got T2 maxes in his home base. So yeah, this is probably the, well, in the current situation, right, this is the most secure position because it's next to the commander, and it's got T2 air defense, and it's got these guys, but it's so far from his home base. I would have probably preferred to upgrade these maxes or these maxes first, just they're feeling more safer. But we'll see if this pays off for him if he's able to maintain this mass extractor. Where is that laser coming from? Where was that thing? It was like all the way down here. Okay, so got a lone Rhino being a hero. This went down, doesn't need to be carrying anything, probably nothing too important happening there. So we definitely, yeah, T2 is happening, right? We've got the T2 P-Chain coming down, we've got pillars coming out, so the T1 phase of this game, that was a nice drop. I didn't see the, oh, what's that drop? There must be a drop, the 2 cluster 2 not been a drop. So that's good. Getting some economic damage. Yeah, don't land next to the land units, right? Because I'll shoot you in the face. Slows down here. So another Rhino. This is, guys, this is going to struggle. It's going to wreck this whole place, right? There's not much that anyone can do about it. Some T2 player or some T1 player might get this done, but these are just going to cause trouble, and just this additional micro demand that is not really warranted. Okay, I may have over exaggerated the battle here, but they didn't really fight into each other as much as one might expect, or they could have done, right? There wasn't a battle to the end, not everything died, there was they fought and they kind of retreated and ran away. So yeah, T2 land, both, no one's really going T2 air yet. I think both players, both ACUs at this point are quite vulnerable to a T2 air snipe, but it doesn't seem like any of the players are going for that. Mountain is definitely more protected from it because he has those bangers in places which it's not really close, but he's got the T2 flag, so that will really help if there was a T2 air snipe, but it doesn't seem to be coming. But he's got the precaution, he's got the walls here, right? So that's also a nice thing to see. Very cheap, it just requires the micro to do it. You're creating a funnel, so if your enemy just like right clicks and doesn't really pay much attention to the walls, you might just create a very favorable engagement area where you can have more of your units shoot at the same time. You've got more DPS going out. Run away, Rhinos, this is not a fight you're going to be taking. Right? I know you're like thinking you're like all big and everything because you're T2 and they're T1, but you're not. There's some nice dodging going on over here. That was some good dancing. Can a Rhino be a dancing queen? Like if they're still young and 17? There's no way these Rhinos are going to last 17. So how do you do age in the Supreme Commander cards? Like it's 17, right? Would that be seconds or minutes? Definitely not years, because there's no match will last in years. It's kind of a weird thing to think, right? You play these RTS games, like even if it's Age of Empires, and like you play in a game for 20 minutes or whatnot, but like realistically, hundreds of years have passed for the technology that you go through. Got some veterancy, get some health upgrade, which is nice. Okay, we've got the T2 TMDs coming out, which is good. Thank you, Zlo, for having that mod, telling me that you have the upgrade. I'm always a big fan of this upgrade. And I think what's happening here is he's understood that rhinos are a thing. Maybe he's seen this loyalists, I don't think so yet. But what this upgrade allows him to do is overcharge and one-hit KO pretty much anything, right? The loyalists and the rhinos, that's just a one-hit kill. And that's great. He's getting another upgrade, so that's exciting. Would be another combat upgrade, right? Because I think the UEF only has the one combat upgrade, so probably a T2 engineering suite? Okay, I'm quite surprised Man's been able to hold on this position here. Zlo really hasn't pushed up here before. He's got the pillars, right? But loyalists, you'd rather be fighting against pillars. Yeah, a TML snipe on Zlo would work here well. Mountain's got the TMDs up. Mountain's actually playing quite cautiously. He's playing very aggressive on the map, throwing T1 units all over the place, attacking here, there, and everywhere. But he's made sure he's got the bangers, protecting himself from a T2 snipe. He's got the TMDs. He's protecting himself from a. Okay, that's yeah, definitely the 2 UEF gun upgrades. I knew that. I totally knew that. Look how much bigger his gun is, right? Yeah, that's his right hand for his big gun. Yeah. Let's leave it at that, shall we? Mr. Banger, what are you doing here? Is that like a little radar thing? That's awesome. I didn't even notice the little radar on the Banger, but that's great, right? I'm constantly impressed by this game, even though it's ancient by any kind of comparative standards. It's just like, this is just an amazing game. I'm still blown away by the... Oh no, this is not what you want to be doing. You don't want to turn your back to enemy interceptors. Like, oh, okay, this little turn. It's juking, it's fighting, and things are exploding, and the screen interceptors are not having a good day. Crash into the wall. The wall's repaired? Who knew? This is bad. Okay, so he got the gun upgrade, which is great. He's going to be able to do the overcharge. I'm going to assume he's got the P power storage, which allows him to do the overcharge. But there we go, right? One hit K on the loyalists. That is why you wanted that gun upgrade. That's going to really protect him from these loyalists. Otherwise, he would be in deep, deep trouble. But these loyalists just have to... What the hell was that? That was an overcharge, right? But the loyalists must have gone out of range and somehow... I didn't even know that was a thing that could happen. Yeah, but these loyalists are going to wreck these 2-1 units. But that ACU is... He's just going balls in, right? Okay, this is a mistake. A torp bomber on this map? That has to be a mistake. There's no way that was... Surely that was... Does it have radar? I'm trying to think of... Like, it does have sonar. And there is some water on this map, so maybe he was like concerned that Zlo was gonna go into the ocean, but I could... misclicked? Like, did he mean to get a Corsair? Surely. That's like 2 Mantises. That seems to be a strange thing to be dropping at this point in the game. Yeah, mass income still super close, even though there was movements in the game. Mountain is still aggressing. Zlo is still making an economic advantage. He must have created a number of mexes. Maybe he's gone T3 in place. He's got some storages up. Look, it's kind of... He hasn't really allowed many storages to be built next to his mexes. Not really allowing for that situation. Ooh, another overcharge. One thing about the overcharge is that it doesn't leave any mass to extract, but it's a small price to pay to just like annihilate your enemy's loyalist. Because otherwise those loyalists are of course deep trouble. Okay, we got wars now. Again, great for funneling your enemy into areas which... So you can control the situation, the battle more clearly, control the battle situation to your advantage. What I mean, in terms of, ooh, that was a nice. This is like classic Navy crossing the T, right? The enemy ships come in a line, they come forward, and you cross them, and it's all done. But nice use of the bonus of the loyalists. That when they die, they leave an EMP and they save them around. So that just gives them a little more time to DPS, and yeah, 2 loyalists went down for whatever they managed to kill here. So Zlo's beginning to get in trouble. Oh, but Percival's, and the one thing about Percival's is Percival's beat Loyalists. Percival's are just like the best. When you get enough of them, you can just kite all day long, and you win, right? Enough Percival's, you're safe from a Monkey Lord. They're just the best. We have enough Loyalists. Percival's out. They're great. They're great news. You're pretty much safe on the land when you got Percival advantage, especially then you just throw a fat boy in there and then you win. And okay, yeah. And basically when the UAF has Percivals in the field, you have to go into an air play, I feel, or a megalith play, which is really far and deep from the game. But I prefer this. He's going for got the crash in, didn't hit. Oh, it did hit, but didn't have damage to the T2 pigeon. I like that approach. We've got like a billion railguns coming down. They take care of the tier interceptors. But I like that play. It was just not enough, but I really like what he was trying to do there. Zlo is not fantastic for his power, but that would have really put him in a bad situation if he was able to power stall him. Again, Mass still super close, right? So what play are we expecting from this? I think Zlo just needs to continue building up his Percival count. Make sure his ACU particularly is safe from an air snipe and just safe. I don't like his ACU here at the moment. I think his ACU is far too vulnerable this late in the game. I don't know how these guys do it, right? They're continuously airdropping Loyalists in very annoying situations, and you should airdrop a Percival to airdrop. Oh, that's fantastic. I don't think I've seen that before. It's really hard to deal with these drops, right? It's just very micro demanding, micro intensive to just continuously handle the drops, but it's really great to see. Like, it's really important. You have to invest that micro to continuously harass your enemy. So he can't really invest that micro to harass you, right? You always want to be the harasser, usually. Although, again, like that 300 mass is on Zlo's side of the map, so he can easily reclaim it if he wanted to, but still, the harassing is important. So Mountain is building up his Corsair account, which is a thing I like to see. He's building that, T2 transport, so he's getting a few T2 air transport, so he's probably looking for a bigger drop, right? Maybe he wants to drop his Loyalists together in some dangerous situation, or maybe he just wants to split them up and harass in different strange places. I don't know why he's got just 2 courses. I feel like he needs more than 2 if he wants to do something, but yeah, there's another coming down, so he's building them. Maybe it's just sort of like a routine air production, like 1 Corsair, 1 Interceptor, which is a very reasonable thing to be doing. So a bit standoff at the moment. What's Zlo doing? He is definitely still building Percivals. That's not all his economy that's going into that. Oh, it's a lot, right? He's got a lot of support engineers in his Percivals. And these are still pillars. I'm just going to go to Zlo. I'm going to figure out how many Percivals he has and where they are. He has got 4. That is not enough, right? Mountain, though, I think he's kind of stopped building. Oh, he's got 15 Loyalists, which is a lot. That's a bad day for Corsairs. That is just not what you want to see. But that T2 Pigeon was weak, and he didn't repair it or under a shield, so that paid dividends, right? Even though that airstrike was intercepted, it was just, you had to get all of them, and you didn't. So I didn't want to invest in the shield for the Pigeon, and yeah, that's fine. Still going for Loyalists? No, that's Brick. It's progressed to Bricks, right? I think Bricks have a better chance against Percivals later on. But yeah, I do not like fighting Percivals as a Siren player. They're just no good options in terms of from the ground. It's just bad news. So I would like to see Mountain go deeper on the air play, or start seeing them experimentals coming out, or something ambitious. But fighting Percival's head on, or just ecoing hard, right? Is a great thing to do as well. The one saving grace of Percival's is that they are quite slow, so... But you can kite with them, so hard, and if you just throw in the fat ball with this Loyalist, you can just... I mean, a fat ball with the Percivals, you can just... You can sell the range, you can pummel things, they come into you, you kite them. It's the only real option you have is like a T3 airplay. But that gets dangerous too, because if you just get intercepted or ASFs into your T3 strap bombs, and that's really expensive. So yeah, Mountain's ahead in the eco, which just as well at this stage in the game. So I think that's really what he's done, right? He's invested more in his eco considering the personal advantage. Maybe I'm making too much of the personal advantage, but I don't think I am. Personals are amazing, and I think it's okay to be excited about them. Sometimes I wonder, okay, that's this thing, that's okay, but it didn't seem to do too much damage. Sometimes I wonder about some of the guns some use, because they just do almost little soil damage. Deceivers are great. They can really deceive, right? Upgrading T2. That's a... Why? Just why? I can only think he specifically wants to put something down here for T2, but he could just put a T2 engineer, but on the air2 it does give him more hit points. So maybe that's what he's thinking. Definitely gives you more build capacity. Just could have an engineer as well, so... Okay, that makes more sense. It's going to the T3 upgrade, so I prefer that. This seems to be a... I think... that's a T3 engineer, right? I don't know why I was looking at that so closely. Continuing the T3 airdrops, it's the best, right? You just do this all day long, and you just annoy your opponents so much. You constantly... like... nick at his eco, and it just makes him sad. And these bricks are just gonna... You should get that one too. They can outrage the 2 on PDs, and even against the bricks, they're gonna struggle to do the damage. Just take it out and start kiting. Hopefully he macros that. That's exactly what he's doing. And these guys are gonna start getting frequency soonish, and they're just gonna... I love it, right? Oh, and that's like... Yeah, he take out the mexes and he's like, I'm done, I'm up, I'm going to kill something more expensive. You've got a SAM site down here, right? This is how annoyed Zlo is getting at this nonsense. He's pulling T3 SAM sites just so he doesn't have to deal with these drops, and that's exactly what you want to do. Because this is like a defensive, it's an expensive defensive thing, which might not really cost anything. So if Mountain wasn't doing the drops, these things wouldn't exist. And right, that's an expense, right? And he's only going to defend against the drops. So you can just go like, hey, I'm going to do a drop or two, I'm going to know my opponent, and if he's going to put all the economy to defend against the drops, then the drops stop happening, or maybe they continue happening. But then it's you force your opponent to defend against an attack that doesn't come, and it's a good situation to be in. I thought these books were just going to be like, yeah, we see your SAM sites, we're just going to kill them anyways, but I like this counter drop approach. It seems to be almost the most effective thing to be handling, and I really, really like it. I don't think I've really seen this before particularly much. That like, yeah, you drop, I'm going to counter drop you. Really effective. That was sad to see. He was even repairing it and was just too slow. Mountain is all over this place. I'm really impressed by his play. Let's check Zlo's power, and he is power stalling badly. He had some storage, but it's run out, and he is going to have issues, right? Mountain is just all over this. I kind of want to say at this point, I don't see how Zlo is going to come back. Mountain is just... His drops have been constant, he's been constantly ignoring his opponent's eco. He's got double the mass now of Zlo, and he's just really controlling the game. The game does go on for at least another like 30 minutes. I'm just thinking like, how? How do you stay in this game? We will find out. This force here, right? I kind of feel that this force could just dominate, it completely destroy everything here if he just walks in, and I think he might do that. And I don't see how Zlo's going to stop this. He's got some personals, he's got some pillars, but I don't... Maybe this is enough to handle this. You've got the bricks, you've got some PDs. Yeah, okay, we've got 4 personals, this will be fine, right? They're going to hold this off. Like, the dimension personals were amazing. But even so, Mountain's got such a... I misread that, right? I think the number here must have just been half the value than it was because Zlo must have been power storing. But turns out Zlo wasn't nearly in his bad economic shape as I thought he was half a minute ago. So he is still in this game. Mountain just, I think, if Mountain, okay, the safe play for Mountain is to just continuously scout Zlo, make sure you know what he's spending his money on, and then just eco, right? Just eco hard. And then make sure you react to any of his threats, continuously eco in, and pull a few megaliths or a monkey and just win. If he keeps up his drops and his harass, that much the better. This is great. He's even reclaiming this far deep outside his enemy's base. He's like, yeah, right, I went in there, I killed your stuff, we had a big battle, I want to deny you this match. It didn't work particularly well, but it's the thought that counts, right? It's not always the thought that counts, it really isn't. If you've received present suggestions from friends or not friends, you understand that it really isn't the thought that counts. But in strategy games, at least, if you get in the routine of doing it, you do it again, you do it again, you do it again. It doesn't always work, but sometimes it does. And it's a real cheap intervention, right? It's a T1 transport, it's filled with a few T1 engineers, and that can make a big difference to the game, and it costs so little to do. It just requires some micro, and if you can bear with the micro, you're fine. I don't know about the C3 land factory down here. I don't know about Zlo being down here. Super vulnerable. Zlo's just... I'm almost like amazed just by how much SAM sites Zlo has built. He's just like had enough. He's just had enough of these raiders. Mountain's done the same thing too. I haven't seen this on this map before. So is there a new meta out, or these players just exploited the whole drop so much that they're like, enough. This is how you deal with it, and just be done. Drops are too powerful, or not too powerful, but the way you deal with them is SAM sites and counter drops. Apparently that's the new way how to deal with it, and I think maybe they're right. Maybe not so sure with the SAM sites, but certainly with the counter drops, I really like. I don't know what these guys are doing, like either go in or go out, right? Like in or out, that's... Okay, we're starting to see a Percival count climb up. This is beginning to be what could be a really huge threat. I don't know what to say about this. Engineers next to other engineers reclaim this stuff. Again, it's the thought that counts, right? It did not work, but it worked a little. The engineer got some work done, so Mountain is doing a real good job trying to make sure he's denying so as much of the reclaim as he can. And as long as you just build a factory, you just put a patrol route and just send engineers all over the map, and they'll reclaim more than what you spent in them, and they don't require micro. And it's what I do a lot, and I like to see other people do it because I think it's a very good thing to do. Good to see some scouting coming. Good to see some scouting coming from Zlo. Not sure if the scouts are going to do too much good, just running into even just like a T1 tracer, which has done some good work, right? He's almost got level 3 veterancy. I am going to drink my coffee now because I like to do that sometimes. Definitely hits a store in the game. Mountain's gone T3 air, which I think is something he really should do. I really like that move. It gives him a very viable option to deal with Percivals, because you just don't want to deal with Percivals with bricks, or even loyalists. It's just going to give you a bad time. And it's got nice balls of bricks. That's a thing. So I'm hoping to see some strap bombers, and you might see them to attack the Percivals if they ever try and come out and aggress. There are too many SAM sites on the map now for a proper T3 airplane. I guess that's one of the reasons that these SAM sites exist, right? It definitely, I think, to deal with the counter drops, but it also protects Zlo from any kind of T3 airplane. And one thing about T3 bombers, right? If they come here and they bomb here, they often do stupid shit like veer right into the SAM site and you get blown up instead of veering left to where it's safe. So if you don't micro that stuff, it's still very easy to lose your T3 chaperones, even though I think there aren't any right here. Interesting place for it. What is happening here, right? Like, why did he cluster the SAM site so much? And why is it so important for the SAM site to have been on the shield? SAM sites have a lot of hit points. I don't really understand why they have been on the shield, but he's getting the ASS with them, right? So they're already paying for themselves. Because ASS are expensive. Definitely seems to be more than I think he needs, so maybe this is like a precursor to some Ravages, or I'm not 100% sure exactly what's going on over there. But I kind of feel it'd probably be a little bit better if the SAM sites were more spread out. Like these Percivals were just like the bricks can't do anything with them. They go in there, the Percivals kite, they win, they run away. Like they can't get the distance, but they can't get any work done. The only way to win is to charge, and yeah, kite, Percivals, kite. Maybe I oversold the Percivals a little bit. I don't know. But they make me happy, right? They make me happy in places where it's not always okay to be happy. I love the graphics on this guy. Cougar. I very rarely build them myself. I just usually just depend on ASFs and T2 SAM sites. Building mobile land units, T2. Building mobile anti-air land units, I feel just... With me, I start with the micro. I send them in places they shouldn't go, I do Control L, I move all my units here, and like mistakes just happen. Like these SAM sites, they're really going to help control protect his base from any kind of airplay, but I just feel this, they kind of need to not be clustered. I'm confused by this. Would Zlo prefer them clustered, or does he just specifically want them under a shield? Like they're in the, if they're going to be clustered, they're in the right point because they're just in the like in between the direct line between these two things. And I don't like this commander being here. He is very vulnerable to any kind of airplay, but Mountain has ASFs, Zlo does not, so I feel he's kind of safe. But why? Why are you here? Are you going to build a monkey lord here and try and like sneak him through? Is that what the engineer is for? There's some things I just don't understand. Like why in the super fast century can robots not hit the PD and instead hitting the walls behind? That seems like a strange thing that you'd expect from the whatever century we're in at this point. That is cheeky. It's like, yeah, you build walls, I'm just going to come around the outside of some riptides. These players are really putting up all the stops. They're really trying to find the weaknesses in each of their opponent's builds or situations, and it's great to see. This is actually a phenomenal game. I'm really impressed by both players. They really do both a fantastic job. I don't think I've seen Loki play like this in ever, really. We're getting quite late. I'm definitely thinking it's about time we saw experiments, either as a Fat Boy or a Monkey Lord, or... I'd be nervous about the Monkey Lord with so many Percivals, because, yeah, they just don't do well. And like so it's like, yeah, okay, we've got this T3 battle going on here, but I'm just going to send some... Are these mech marines down here to clear up the engineers? I'm going to send this mobile air unit here just to see what will happen. Yeah, okay, I thought I heard that TML. That's coming through. I guess he had the riptides here. He saw that there wasn't a TMD and he's just like SAM sites are expensive, right? And you might as well hit them with the TMD. There's no reason not to. We've got spearheads. We've got Ravagers. This is what I like to do. I often like to, especially at this stage in the game where you attack and if you lose, you just give your opponent a lot of mass. Just kind of like build a fire base just outside and just cause damage. So you've got the Ravagers, they're good. You've got the Spearheads, which are going to cause the damage. You've got the TML here as well. So this is going to be a problem. Like Mountain is going to have to respond to this before these Spearheads start targeting his nexus that he is upgrading. So he's definitely going to want some more TMDs, supposing some shields, and something to deal with. Kill this. Bricks are not the right response because the Ravagers are just going to kill them. Like that. Although I like the micro from the brick there, kind of juke the Ravager, like blast a little bit. You don't really, bricks aren't really known for their nimbleness. I'm still confused by this, like why are the SAM sites clustered? It just seems like a strange choice. So, Zlo, I hope this is because of Reclaim, right? Like, it has to be because of Reclaim. Like, you can't be that far ahead in the economy then. I hope. We'll see in a moment. More copy is good. Oh, let me just see how many T3 mexes he has. How? Oh, jeez. Is that really his economy? 251? If it is, Mountain's in big trouble. Oh, well, have me keeping the close enough eye here. Is that Reclaim? I hope it's still Reclaim. But it seems quite consistent, so it might not be. The bricks coming down here, killing the Ravagers, or rather being killed by the Ravagers. Although definitely cause a little bit of trouble here. If he takes out the build capacity a little bit, that's... Oh, you realize this is like a pond. That's cute. TML doing some more work. Yeah, just dropping in more bricks. I guess that's one way of dealing with this. He's taking out most of the Ravagers, so he'll clear this out, and then there'll be some nice mass for Mountain to pick up on. Zlo's economy has just completely exploded. I'm not quite sure where or when or how that happened, or where's it all coming from. Is it all just these mexes, or I'm still waiting for it to just... And he's going, yeah, all air, so that's He's just the Rapture further back, so just... Okay, so I really like this Mount. He's like, yeah, okay, you put your fire base, it is a gift of mass. I dealt with it, I'm done, and now that mass is mine. But he's so far behind in eco at the moment that I don't really see how he's going to manage coming back from behind with this. And so he's actually managed, well not finally, but he's managed to turn the game. He's got clear and distinct advantage. He's harassing Mountain's main base. I think Mountain's played phenomenally. I still don't know where his SU is doing up here. Okay, he's upgrading. So, tele-laser, maybe? He definitely needs something. He must understand now that he's in a bad situation. So, maybe there's actually a tele-laser. We'll find out. It would be nice if he had a mod that told me what upgrade he's getting, but, you know, you can't have everything in this world. Maybe we'll see when that orange bar pulls up. I know it's like super fun to watch an orange bar slightly get bigger and bigger and bigger. But he got an upgrade and I don't know what it is. So he said K, I don't know who he's talking to. If there's some kind of communication in between, that probably is not going to do very well. There's a lot of mass coming from Mountain's engineers. Lots of drops coming through. He didn't eco enough, right? There was a point where I think he definitely was in control of the game. He definitely had more eco. And at that point, Zlo was just like, I'm going to eco super hard, and that is how I'm going to win the game. Mountain continued his harassing. His harassing wasn't as cost effective as it would have been if he had just ecoed, and that's kind of where he lost it, right? And I'm not going to fault either players here, because this was an absolutely phenomenal game. They kept on, it was real tight, up to about 30 minutes, I think. And but Zlo's eco is just going to snowball. He can pretty much just kill Mountain any way he chooses. And I think he's definitely trying to do something sneaky with this ACU over here, but he's going to be found out, right? He's in a little pond, but I don't know at some point how that's going to be found out, but we definitely should be reaching the point where Zlo says, I'm going to kill you in this way of my choosing. So, time to speed the game up. I'm going to take it to +2. If the game starts coming across as being competitive again, I'll slow it down. Not standard enough. I don't know why you are saying the things you're saying, Mountain. I don't know why you're saying these things. Too hard. You played super well, right? Like, you did phenomenally. Zlo played phenomenally as well. You definitely were in a good position of the game. Here is a Monkey Lord, right? That's nice to see. It will not win you the game. I can almost guarantee you that. This amount of personals alone is enough to deal with it. You got artillery. How did that even happen? At some point in the game, Mountain, there was a stalemate and Zlo just ecoed super hard and you didn't. And that kind of happened around the 30-minute mark, right? There's still all the drops coming, and at some point they just weren't as effective as they used to be. And that allowed Zlo to get the upper hand. Maybe I think a big part of it was all the drops. At some point, right, when you do the drop, you actually don't do as much damage as the mass you give in the wrecks you leave behind. And then not only do you give your opponents a little bit of mass in that way, but you also didn't use that mass to invest in your own eco. And at some point in the game, that balance between damaging his eco is a good investment and it stops being a good investment. And I think he must have slightly misread that a little bit. And Zlo just chose the right time and opportunity to just really eco hard. Other than that, I really can't fault them. I think the Mountain played super well. I think his harass was brilliant. Zlo really struggled with it for the longest time. He ended up having to build SAM sites all over the place. This is unusual. Those are whoops. Where is... Yeah! Yeah! Okay. That Monkey Lord got way too close to the ACU. This is why all these PDs existed. Just like, oh no, the Monkey Lord's going to get my ACU, I'm going to die. And that was a thing that nearly happened. What just happened? a billion tons of T1 PD, I think, and like Percival's as well, but that Monkey Lord didn't really have much of a chance. It shouldn't have had a chance anyways. Zlo's, that was mostly Zlo's error in having his HQ that close to even give Mountain a chance there. This game is over. Tony speed it up, and yeah, Mountain's dead. Okay, so that's the game. I thought this was an absolutely amazing game. If any of you guys ever want to know how to play Loki, watch this replay. Which is a strange thing to say after you've just watched the replay, but you know, time travel and stuff. But yeah, I think I definitely prefer the way Mountain played up until about the half 30 minutes mark. I think he controlled the map, he dominated it, his harass was excellent, he actually really had Zlo on the back foot for the longest time. It was around the time where Percival's came out, they kind of controlled the land situation a little bit. There was a bit of a lull in the fighting where the T3 from Cyberman just couldn't really handle the Percivals very well. Mountain's trades just weren't as effective as they were, and at that point Zlo just ecoed super hard and got such an eco advantage on Mountain that he won, right? That's how you win. You just have a much bigger eco, and that's always with this game, right? It's eco is such a big part of it, and you can there's always an avenue to invest in your eco. So if you don't know what your opponent is doing and he just ecos hard and you don't know this, that's a big whoopsie. So thank you for joining me for this replay, and I hope to see you again. Okay, bye!